My name is Norm Kirby. I live in Lions Bay, British Columbia. I served in World War II in England, France, Normandy, Belgium, Holland, and on to Germany at the end of the war. I started out as a private, the lowest man in the rank and the smallest guy, and they give me the biggest gun to carry. As a private, and I got to be a corporal and then a platoon sergeant, and actually at the end of the war I was an acting platoon commander. And when the war ended I was still 19 years old, and when I came home to Canada I couldn't vote, and I couldn't go in to have a beer with my dad because I wasn't old enough. But there was nothing odd about that. That's just the way it was. You had to be 21, and there was thousands of servicemen coming back, and nobody paid much attention to us then. We went through our life, tried to, as well as we could. I actually forgot all about the war until the 50th anniversary come up. I tried to join the Navy because I was working on the tugs. I thought they'd make me a captain or something. But anyway, they wouldn't take me because I didn't have a high school graduation, or I'd never been to high school. So then I tried the Air Force, and they just laughed at me. So I went to the Army, and they grabbed me and said, "Hey, you're not old enough yet, but we'll work it out." So they give me a paper, and they said, "You got to get your mom or dad to sign this before we can put you in here because you're not of age yet." And I went to my mother, and she looked at it, and she says, "I'm not signing that. They'll kill you." And oh, okay. So I went to my dad, and he said, "Where do I sign?" So it was getting close to D-Day, and they needed to new troops, so they couldn't take brand new. They had to take training, so they took a bunch of the North Shores and a bunch of other ones, and that's why the reinforcements ended up there. I don't think it had anything to do with the mix-up that way. But I ended up in the North Shore Regiment, and basically they were New Brunswick was bilingual even in those days, and especially the part around Bathurst and the North Shore of New Brunswick were Acadians. So I thought I was in the Foreign Legion, and they didn't care for me, and I wasn't that excited about them. But as time went on, and especially after D-Day, I got to know them, and I think some of them are the best friends I ever had in my life, is those guys in that outfit. And I just feel bad that so many of them are gone. I'd been on boats before, so I knew my way around. So I wasn't too excited about it or concerned. The landing craft is a different matter. We had all our gear, and I had a Bren gun and a bunch of ammunition, and a couple of guys with me carrying more ammo. We didn't have life preservers as such, but we had flak jackets, no Kelvar in those days. You had a canvas sack on the front and one on the back with a steel plate in it. And I think the two of them weighed close to 40 pounds, so I knew that if anything happened, I wasn't going to be able to even wade ashore with that. So I dumped it. I took my ammunition pouches and stuff off, and when the landing craft hit a mine and went down, I was able to swim. And I got to shore okay, and I didn't do anything that day. I got to shore, no weapons, no nothing. I had a knife, fork, and spoon. And later on, people said, "Well, you must have heard about the French cooking and be prepared," but that wasn't the reason. Word came down round road that there was a Tiger tank heading down towards us, and the officer talked to the sergeant. The sergeant come up to me and said, "Kirby, you're the guy, you're the one that's had experience with this. I want you to go up that road in the ditch alongside of the road, go up there, and when the tank gets 75, 50 feet from you, shoot it." He says, "I'll be there and I'll give you the signal. Just look at me behind you." So I was scared. I don't think I'd ever been so frightened in my life. But anyway, I went up there and I got settled, and I could hear the tank, and then I could see him coming, and he was rattling along at a pretty good rate. And I don't think he saw us. And I looked back at the sergeant, and he shook his head no, but the tank hit a little bump in the road and tilted up a bit, and I could see the underbelly of the tank, and I let drive, and I got him. It was a good shot, and it stopped the tank and everything around it. My brother asked my wife if I was going to go to the ceremony for the 50th anniversary of D-Day, and she said, "Why would you want to do that?" And my brother, who was also a Korean War veteran, airborne, well, my brother said, "Well, he was there." She said, "I didn't even know he was in the Army." So